There are so many people talking about, oh my God, I can make so much money starting an Airbnb business. In our case, this is our first 3 months on Airbnb, $19,312. But wait, that's not what we're taking home. There are so many expenses when it comes to having an Airbnb business. So in this video, I'm telling you exactly how much we took in bookings, what we spent in expenses and maintenance, etc., and showing you exactly how much you can take home in your first month operating a short-term rental. Coming up next. All right, what's up, you guys? My name is Josh Baldovino, and I am a real estate investor in long-term rentals, short-term rentals. We got a flip going on, got some arbitrage. I don't know. We're trying a little bit of everything and documenting the process so that hopefully you can also follow along and start your journey in real estate investing. And we are showing you exactly how much we made from our Airbnb in our first month officially as just short-term rental hosting, how much we spent in terms of maintenance, because there were a few maintenance calls, there were some Instacart orders ordered, and what we're taking home. I am a really nosy person. And so I like to know how much other people are making because I want to see, hey, is it feasible? Is it possible? Is it realistic? And today I am showing you everything. If you appreciate the transparency, please give it a like. Also consider subscribing, but let's just jump in. Before I show you how much we made and how much we spent, I also want to show you how far off we were from estimating our revenue. Now, when it comes to looking at short-term rentals, there are 3 different estimation tools that I use that I would recommend that you use as well. The first off being airdna.co, the next one being Rabu, and the last one, and the one that you should definitely not skip, is actually looking at the booking platforms that you want to be on. So whether it be Airbnb, VRBO, booking.com, whatever it may be, and look at your competition. Anyways, so how far off are they? That's what you want to know, right? So the first one here, AirDNA. AirDNA gives you I don't know how many free searches they give you, but you can get some for free. So you type in your address, and really you use this rentalizer tool here. You would type in your address, and this is actually our exact house in Yucca Valley. You'll see that for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, let's actually make this 10 guests because that's what we have on the listing. Let's see how that changes for you. Okay, sweet. So really nothing really changed. So this estimates that it grosses roughly about $88,000 a year, about $377 for an average daily rate, and then an occupancy of 64%. Now I will say is AirDNA does scrape Airbnb and VRBO. They take the listings from both sources and they combine that together so that you can get a holistic picture. So I can see here that I can roughly get, 377 times 64% at 365 days a year gives me $88,000 a year in gross revenue. That's not including expenses. Now, you want more data sources, right? Because that's important. The next one I would say is you look at data.rabu.com. Is a free source. It is forever free. They actually list properties on for short-term rentals and they run the numbers for you. It's pretty amazing. Anyways, I like to use it to also give me a second data point. I will say the one caveat is that they only pull from Airbnb. If your market's very heavy in VRBO or another booking platform, this may not be as accurate for you. But again, more data points, better. For example, for me in Joshua Tree, Airbnb is the most popular booking source. Super simple. You type in your address. I won't show you my address. In this instance, it's looking at $8,864 per year, which if you're looking at an annual projection, 84 times 12 is $106,000. So that's a big spread from the other one, right? 88,000. This is almost $20,000 more. So that's why it's important to get multiple data sources so that you can average this out. What I do like about this one, though, is that this does give me kind of a seasonality picture of the rental market there in the area. You'll see that April, May, June are the low seasons from what it's scraping right now, and that winters and summers right now look like to be more of the high earning seasons. I like this because this gives me, oh man, should I hold on to cash right now and make sure that I have enough savings to weather potentially next month being low, or can I expect a really booked month and I can project and hold on and keep track of my finances in that sense. And that's the first one, right? Is that we're looking at Airbnb. It's giving me roughly about $88,000 a year. Is about $7,300 per month. This one is telling me after seasonality, I can get 8,000. So there's $1,015. There's a $1,500 spread there. The last thing you should do, go into Airbnb or whatever booking platform it is, check on flexible. Sure, you can pick as however much you want. Make sure then you then filter. This is just like running comps. If you were to purchase a property, you can pick in how many different types of bedrooms you have: 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. Sweet. All right, so let's see what's available. So I can see off the bat that there are a lot of different ones that are beautiful in 4 bedrooms and up. Let's just take this one, for example. So right here, you'll see it says $600 a night. I want to see what their calendar looks like. So what are they blocked out in? Meaning May, they still have some availability. June, there still is some as well. If I picked a random weekend in June, we're at $700 a night. I can see the cleaning fee. And this is how you spy on your competition and or market research. Do this so you have a firm understanding. Again, that's AirDNA, that's Rabu, and then that's looking at what the listings are on both platforms, of course. Now that we have all that, we have an expectation, and we can make anywhere between $7,000 and $9,000 a month on this property. Did I hit it? Well, let's see. This is my actual account, so please give this a like for the transparency, because this is not fake numbers. This is what actually happened, and our expected payout was $7,393. I will also say that we had one booking on VRBO, so this is not the only booking we had, which means that we're about $8,000 in for gross. I think we're right at the middle of the averages of the two platforms, right? Which is pretty good. Now, before we skip away, how much did we actually take home? So we didn't take home $8,000 for this month. What were our expenses? What things went wrong? What did we factor in to figure out what our net was? Context, we'll say, was that before this, you'll remember that I posted another video about that it took us 5 months to launch our Airbnb. Permitting took forever. And in that process, we did also have a month-long guest in there to subsidize the mortgage cost. So this was actually the first full month of us operating only as a short-term rental with no midterm rental income in there. We did have the first 10 days of this property, the 10 days of the calendar month in April, actually blocked off and unable to book because we were forced by the city to then connect onto the sewer. So that was a third of the month that we couldn't collect revenue. So all that aside, we had 7 total bookings, so here are our expenses. We had 6 cleanings at about $175 each, so $1,075. Our cleaners also did refill 2 propane tanks, including their time, and they charged us $75 for that. We had miscellaneous supplies like toilet paper and K-cups that we had to reorder, so that was roughly about $75. We did have to do a roof repair, so this is part of owning a property. There are some things that will require maintenance. In this case, the sealant from our ceiling mounted AC unit had a leak, so we had to get that repaired, which was about $1,250. We did put in a temporary inflatable hot tub, which failed miserably. So we bought it. It didn't really work. We had a guest try and change the heat. It didn't work for whatever reason. We had a pool guy. 1, we paid the pool guy $200 to set it up. 2, we paid him another $200 to come out there for an emergency meeting to go help the guest, which it still didn't work. So we spent $400 setting it up for nothing. Our pool guy, I will say, actually ended up buying the unit for us. So that was plus $400. Well, not really, because we bought it in the first place. Anyways, that's confusing. Just inflatable hot tubs, I'm not a big fan at the end of the day. Okay, landscaping costs. And there was a lot of weed growth. So we paid $460 for a landscaping team to come in, pull all the weeds, and spray to make sure that the backyard looks in a pristine desert condition. Additionally, our dishwasher was leaking. We had a garbage disposal installed by a previous handyman that actually was not installed correctly. So then we had to pay another contractor to come back in and reinstall that correctly. So that was a $120 service call. In terms of utilities, we paid $200 for electricity and about $33 for water. And then finally, you have your mortgage, your insurance, your taxes, all of that good stuff. And we paid roughly about $2,030 a month. So all in all, our total expenses for the month are $5,294.31. Whew. Did you follow along in that? That was confusing. You could hopefully, if you just fast forward to this part, now you know how much we're going to make, right? Because our total money in, after also accounting for $7,393 of Airbnb, $775 of VRBO, and selling our hot tub to our hot tub guy with $400, our gross was $8,568, which then subtract your gross minus your expenses, and you get about $2,973 in total net. Now, pretty good, right? I would say For our first active month, having that first 10 days booked out for us to then cash flow $3,000 a month is awesome. Like that is exactly what we wanted. And that was the plan. I will say we did have a lot more expenses than expected as well, but we're still on this build out phase and we're not done yet. There are still additional amenities that we're looking into. So we're going to buy an actual real hot tub. Wayfair actually just delivered it. So that took a while. There's a couple more repairs that we want to make on the property. So it's going to be an ongoing project, but for the first time ever, we are finally no longer putting in money to cover some of these maintenance items. We now have income to then cover that. We're also, for the record, not going to take out that $3,000. So that $3,000 is not going into our pocket. As you can tell, we had a lot of expenses this month. And now our goal is to have enough savings is to keep that bankroll in the bank account roughly about 3 to 6 months, depending on what your portfolio looks like. So that way, if you have any incidental expenses, any miscellaneous maintenance items, you have cash on hand to then pay for those expenses. I hope you learned something that starting Airbnb, while yes, it is very lucrative, it also is pretty capital intensive. You have to understand the numbers and you have to understand how to budget and finance for these expenses. This is a mini hotel, so you're going to have a decent amount of operating expenses that you have to make sure that you account for. Otherwise, you will end up in the red. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, I tried to be as transparent as possible just so that you can see what is it actually like to run, to own, to set up an Airbnb business. If you want to see more about how we built out our Airbnb business, how much money it took to build it out, then make sure to click the link down below. I also had another vlog about us going in during that sewer connection and doing some last minute fix-ups because you just can't avoid it. But also we enjoyed the property, so that's one of the perks there too. And again, if you want more Airbnb or real estate investing related content, make sure to subscribe. I put out a new video weekly and I appreciate you guys. So I hope you guys liked it so much. I'm gonna get back to it. I will see you all in the next one. Cheers.